What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Mike LaBelle. Welcome back to the Playbook. Today, we are going to cover some 1v1 scenarios. If you're new to these streets, which you are, please subscribe or at least consider subscribing. We give you the goods on a regular basis. We're in our second home. If you've watched the channel, you know we always start in the arena. I'm going to go over a few different techniques that are going to be used in this video, starting with the ball roll. I have dedicated tutorials with the ball roll, but it's one of the most simplistic skills that you can add into rotation. You see that right there? L1 dribbling. A lot of you don't use it. It's almost more of a crab walk. It will come into play today. R1 dribbling, where you get a little bit of a pace boost. It's not as popular as it once was. It's not as overpowered as it once was. You just hold R1 and you start the dribbling. Again, there's a video on this channel, full tutorial. That's why I'm going over this quickly. So those are the major three that I need you to understand. Ball rolls, pretty simple. R1 dribbling, just to repeat. Look at the speed there. And then some L1 dribbling, which is a little more of a crab walk, and I don't see it used that often. And then your left stick, how you turn with the left stick. There's half turning. I might make a full tutorial really on this. Like, you can move with your left stick in ways that I don't think everyone has mastered. It's a matter of a lot of half turns. Let's get into the examples. The ball roll, one of my favorites, the classic. If you have questions about anything, please take advantage of the comment section. You've got a 1v1. You've seen this most likely time and time again. Maybe you haven't mastered it yet. It's all about understanding frames and the distance between you and the goalkeeper. He's approaching, he's encroaching. Sometimes you can bait goalkeepers into getting a little bit out of pocket, out of position. Quite frequently happens down the wings, and you want to take full advantage. I want you to score every opportunity possible. We've got a lovely gap here, and just even when I'm looking at my chase back situation, these defenders aren't necessarily going to challenge me, which tells yours truly that we have a little more time to work with. And time is key. Space is also key. And that goalkeeper location tells us a little bit of that extra information. We need all of the above. There's your ball roll. Keeper falls down. You tap that home. Okay, understood? I think you do. We're starting off light. It's going to get more detailed. Don't you go anywhere. I always love multiple examples. Big Holland. I want to do a video talking about these bigger touches, especially with the knock-on touch, which is kind of forgotten. In this scenario, I'm going to backtrack for a second. We're really trying to find a ideal position. It's a bit of a game of cat and mouse. This is much more difficult than you would think. People don't just simply bring out their goalkeepers, especially not in the higher levels. They do a lot of bait and switch. They come out aggressively and then they retreat. You've got to be smart with your touches. And a player like Holland, as much as I like this guy this year, he's a little more unpredictable, can be a little heavier on some of those touches. So it's all about taking advantage of this space. And in this case, we do have a lot of it to work with. And then seeing if we can get some sort of game here between us and the goalkeeper. And I kind of highlighted this middle ground because if we can come together in this area, that puts me into a quality advantage, assuming that none of the defenders, and we do have a major gap at the moment, these guys have not recovered. They haven't put me in an awkward position. We know the auto recovery is real in FC24. AI defending is definitely in the picture. You see what I'm saying? There's already one guy back. But now we've got that big hefty touch. Goalkeeper, he had tracked back, but now he's off his line again, which tells me, okay, worst case here, I'm definitely looking at a ball roll, and I want to go that way with the ball roll for two different reasons. If the goalkeeper falls down, amazing. Secondly, it gives me a better angle for this player to not be able to track back into the game plan in any regard because I'm taking out wide. Thirdly, if I don't get the goalkeeper to fall over, I don't get that animation that I'm looking for, I will retain possession. So three scenarios that are all relatively positive. There's the goalkeeper, player on his butt, tail whipping, looking a little sus. And the angle might have got more difficult, but it's an open goal. At the end of the day, even Holland on his weak foot should be able to convert this, or many players. Just don't try to overpower it, tap it home, and take this to the bank. There you go. Scoots it in. Because I like the goal, I'll give us one more. Similar situation, goalkeeper off his line. We get a couple good touches. You still have that same gap. And I like to teach continuity. We're always looking for frames and certain gaps in spacing that allows us to take advantage of the skill. Ball roll around the goalkeeper. And then from here, could I have tapped it home? Sure, but we wanted to give you something extracurricular. So that's exactly what's going down. A little bit of that chip life, and we're in there. Like swimwear. Let's move. Left stick perfection, and it's not talked about enough. I don't know why. You got the build up here, a little bit of the R1 dribbling there from Holland. We got a resurface. We're gonna have a drop off, and this position here, we've got to turn. This is gonna be all left stick. You're gonna see maybe 2 or 3 different quick movements, all left stick dribbling, And I'll do a full tutorial on this. It's not the easiest thing to teach. A lot of you are too strong, if that makes sense. You're too fierce. There's a precise movement when it comes down to this left stick. And I'll make a full video on this, but there are basically half movements. You see how like there's half movements around here? A lot of y'all are like, like that. And I don't mean that in a disrespect. It takes time to learn kind of these half turns, and even more so to learn those half turns while you're under pressure. It's not hard to do it when no one's around you, but when you got a lot of players, you're inside the box, you need to generate and replicate. There's pressure, but it makes a world of the difference. You got the goalkeeper coming out here. I don't really have enough time. I got a lot of bodies around me. There's not a skill move that really fits for me right here. You could try to pop up and do a ball roll, but what do we have? 5 players? If you really want to, we could just keep counting. 8 players inside the box. I've got an opportune position here where I'm able to do something with it. I just don't know if I have a big enough gap to actually introduce a skill. I'll hear a counter argument if you want to say in this distance there's enough time for you to have that touch and a skill, but most of you won't have that. That's an instinctive pop-up skill, and I still don't know if you have enough time in terms of the frames. Keeper's coming out, but you see a little sidestep and we walk it around. Let's watch that again. I need you to see this maybe slowed down or even in quick full speed. So Holland with the resurface right here, we're doing it in slow-mo. You've got this drop off. Now you have a first touch here, and I can't emphasize this enough. When you're receiving the ball, stop sprinting. One of the biggest mistakes that beginner and even intermediate players make, they sprint too much. We receive this in the Nakata. Now we're gonna have a quick turn. That's a little half turn, and then one more. Yep. Do you see those 2 little touches? It's not one. So we've had maybe 3 touches within this reception. So we've got to Nakata. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you see that 4th touch? This is left stick dribbling goodness, and smaller players like a Messi that are just gifted with dribbling, I find that they have even better touches. And you might say, well, that's a Messi advantage. Damn right it is. It is a Messi advantage. Here's your drop off. 1, 2, 3, 4. That 4th touch is what gets the goalkeeper to go down. It's small, very small, and we're not sprinting. All left stick dribbling. Nothing special, nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing extraordinary, standardized stuff. Don't worry, I have more examples. I actually really like this setup. We have Rodrigo. You've got the heel to ball roll, right? But watch what I do here. And it's not necessarily part of this video in particular. I did a little hesitation. Do you see that? Sometimes you could just take your finger off the trigger, man. It could do something for you. I was already moving forward, so this isn't an execution of a skill. I'm not adding anything new into the game plan. I just stopped. I wanted to see if I could throw off some momentum, and I did. A little pause, up, stop and go. And then right here, this is all left stick dribbling. Unfortunately for us, it gets blocked, but we get the tap in. You just re-angle left stick dribbling. That would have been a goal. If it didn't get blocked by the defender, it hits the back of the net. I'd like to add in what I'm looking at here, just so you see the full picture. This defender, I got to beat the likes of Varane. Offensive options 1 and 2 are really the main options. If you wanted to make more of a long-term play, potentially he could run into this space. But this is what I'm saying. I've got to beat that defender. That's why I'm challenging with the skill move. And in this circumstance here, he's overplaying. He's taking away this guy, but either way, he's already kind of drifting here. We want the space. That's why I go with the heel to ball roll, which allows us to go into this lane of space. And if you know me, even before the overpoweredness of all these pass across and squaring different passes and the layoffs, I've always been someone who takes advantage of sidelines and end lines. That's what we're going to do. Here we go. I still have not created the gap that I'm looking for. Remember, option 1, option 2, they're not open. If anything, option 3 starting to sneak into that position I was talking about. Can he get in there? Either way, that's why I stop and just hesitate. Stop, and then we go. Once this has happened, everything is wide open. If I wanted to do a layoff, it's possible. If I wanted to dribble, which is the option I chose, it's possible. Either way, and I talk about this all the time, you want options. In all circumstances, options are good to have. I don't know if that looks a little bit messy, but that's the point. If your opponent doesn't know what to take away or they have to play a bit of a 50-50 game, it's good for you. We don't go with the layoff, but we do get the rebound. It still worked out. R1 workshopping. So this is where we're using the R1 dribble. It's going to look similar to that last example with the left stick, but it's not. And it's because you're a little bit boosted and the goalkeepers don't react as well. So Rodrigo, we're into space. We've done a good job here. When I analyze the scenario, even on the fly, I'm saying I got a lot of space in this area. It's a good zone. And my opponent has not switched players. So he is manually defending a player that is out of position and not necessarily going to be prevalent in this defensive circumstance, which tells me with Rodrigo, fast player, I can probably re-angle myself to the inside. which gives me a better attacking angle for either a layoff or to go directly to goal. We do that exactly. And in this point right here, and I know that Rodrigo has quality dribbling, always a bonus, but I do this with Haaland. I'm slapping on the R1 dribble, and that allows me to be a little more composed. It's a little more explosive. It's faster. And I'm telling you, goalkeepers fall down easy. There it is right here. What is that reaction from the goalkeeper? He did nothing. We're never going to miss. He's not going to have a reaction. The entirety of the goal. Look at this. You can't not convert. Keeper is still standing straight up. No problem. Tap it home. Just a love touch. Perfect. We have Haaland on display. I might have set that up nicely. Not known for his dribbling. Same situation. We turn a defender. I'm looking at it. A lot of space that will allow me. He's left-footed. Let me re-angle. We also take notice. This is who's currently manually being defended. We have option 1 and option 2. I don't really trust Haaland's passing. No shots at Haaland. It's not phenomenal. Either way, a big touch should not take away these options. If anything, I might be able to draw this defender into a bad position or maybe an easier defying position for me. It'll let me know what I need to do. I can react to it. There's Haaland. Now the goalkeeper's coming out. We're going to use that R1 dribbling again, and we're just going to cut into the space. Leads for an easy opportunity. You could probably have gone with some sort of ball roll if you wanted. I already had it on his left foot. It just felt more natural. Haaland's a little funky at times because he's a little clunky. It's unique to him. Maybe it's not unique just to Haaland, but from rotational players, Haaland is a little more clunky than what we're used to, or what I'm used to in the attack. There's your quick side touch. Oh, man, you love that. You love to see it. Look how the goalkeeper goes down. You didn't know Haaland had this in his arsenal. R1 right there, wide open goal. It actually gets blocked and we rebound it in. But it's picture perfect. And because I already got this on his left foot, as opposed to it being in more of a neutral position, I felt better about just going with an R1 dribble as opposed to trying a ball roll or a skill move. Sometimes Haaland's skill moves are not the quickest in execution. If I went with power there too, it wouldn't have even got blocked. But either way, goal's a goal. The L1 sidestep. And I'm going to be completely transparent. This is likely to take you a little bit longer to get used to because I don't think most of you have the L1 dribble in your rotation. If I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong. So we've got Rodrigo, a similar position here where we are attacking the space. We're always attacking space. I want to put somebody under pressure. That is going to be the goal every single day of the week. And I'm also analyzing what's happening here. How many people are chasing back? Who's most likely to cut me off? We're going to play this off the fly. You have to be able to react. In this position, I've got a good lead. I don't necessarily choose right. I'll go with the ball roll. If anything, I should have been attacking here. I go to the outside. Maybe it's a poor read on my end. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. We're not perfect, but I'm telling you what could have made this easier for me would have been a quick touch to the good on the inside. Didn't happen. So we have a ball roll here. Now the keeper is still in a position where he's committed. This goalkeeper is committed. And in this position here, I'm going to hit L1. And remember, I showed you in the arena, the L1 dribble allows you to kind of crab walk. You can pull the ball backwards. I don't think there's another dribble that has that functionality in the same way where you're still moving, but you have a controlled movement and you kind of can hop or slightly move on the fly. It has a little bit of a bump. There's something going on there. If you know, then you know. But in this circumstance, it is the ideal position because what it allows me to do is more or less, I can kind of move backwards and side to side. You'll see it and I'll rewind it. There it is. You see that? And it opens up the goal. It's gorgeous. Oh my goodness. So good. So good. And again, I'm not expecting this to be an easy addition to your gameplay. I told you it would get more advanced. Rodrigo, we've got the ball roll. The keeper didn't give me what I wanted. This is L1 dribbling. There you are. Keeper falls down. We pull it back and then to the side. What's right is right. Goalkeeper movement recognition. I almost would look at this as an early recognition, early eyesight. You're a visionary. I've done videos on recognizing this, what to look for. Did you see the goalkeeper already scooted? He's already started. That's why I said this has to be early. Because he starts early, I've got the likes of Harry Kane, who has a fantastic right and left foot. A lot of power with the finish, not the fastest player, which tells me I could beat him. I know that the near post is open at this point. Therefore, this tells me Harry is in a bread and butter position to go ahead and challenge that near post. The goalkeeper's already moved, therefore the animation won't recover well, and our opposition probably doesn't think that I've already seen that little scoot. He tries to get back, doesn't matter. If anything, he overdid it at the end of that too. But even if he only had the slight movement, this still flies in. I know what's right is right. We got a breakaway. Haaland, big touch. I want to talk about these big touches. Keeping that on repeat. Such a difference maker, especially for these powerful players. Goalkeeper scoots. Because you might have asked, well, what are you doing in this circumstance? I've already seen a little bit of scoot this way. So now I'm hitting that near post all day. And at the same time, I don't need the challenge. And I don't know if these guys are going to recover faster than I expect. They're all chasing back. They're putting pressure. You can't just slow up with Holland. Understood? I have a powerful player with a powerful left peg. He's already on that left peg. I always look at trajectory of shot animations. It's naturally going to hit that curvature on the near post. Keeper's already scooted. Forget about it. And he even scoots worse afterward. Maybe both these examples, they move early, but they don't do a good job with secondary movement. You see what we're dealing with here? It's wide open. Bang, bang. Good luck stopping that. I call this L7, also known as Square or Us. If you ever went to a Toys R Us, that is a play on words. Kareem the Dream. I like this example just because the build-up's a little bit better. You've seen this goal time and time again. I'm not going to do a big breakdown on it. There's been a lot of content, but at least we get some extra skills. Get yourself down the end line. The idea is all about opening up options. So we've got option 1, option 2, and option 3. In this scenario, it's all about finding your layoff. And for you to connect that layoff, you're going to need some sort of gap of space. And you're also analyzing the defenders. Can I shift a defender out of position? Preferably one of the center backs or the defender that's chasing me. End line, there's one more skill. I love the heel to ball. It's still good to go. Right when that unlocks, this man is beat. He's out of position. We've now unlocked this little box of space. You have 2 options that have opened up now, and you can kind of pick your poison. They're more or less battling for the same piece of space, the same portion of real estate. If anything, they're having a bidding war, and then you lay it off, and you finish. Arrives on time. Again, I'm not going to do a big breakdown on layoffs. We've scored a lot of them. We've conceded a lot of them. I like that sequence because at least had some skills in the build-up in order to get to that position comparatively to what we often see online where it's as simple as just run the end line. But it's a way to finish, beat a goalkeeper, become 100% with your finishing and your conversion. That's more or less what this video is about. I wanted to go over a lot of different ways to score. We haven't done a full-on ultimate finishing tutorial. Therefore, I figured we should segment this together a little bit and give you a glimpse of a few different ways to finish at high levels, and that there's variety. I didn't even get into cancellations. We didn't talk about heel-to-heel skill moves to beat a keeper or the La Croqueta. There's a lot happening here on the offensive end, and it's a matter of figuring out what works best for you and also understanding and recognizing the sequence. People sometimes talk about how I don't necessarily go over in depth how to do a skill move. I think I give much more value on how to actually introduce it into your gameplay at all different levels and facets of the game. I'll give you the introduction, but I'm going to spend more time giving you the details, providing you with ways to actually use this in-game. If you're new, I appreciate you. Welcome. If you're old, I appreciate you. Welcome. We'll have a lot more content coming out ASAP. Let me know if this helped out in the comment section.